Okay. Good evening, students. I am Ashish Kumar, and I am going to teach most important chapter of your ancient Indian history. This is the rise of Mahajanpad. Okay, this is the most important chapter for the Indian ancient history, and this is the important chapter for your UPSC preliminary and the mains examination. Okay, now I am going to discuss the rise of Mahajanpad. Okay, so this is the new chapter, rise of Mahajanpad. In the 6th century BCE, the Mahajanpad era, it came in existence. Is it clear? Came in existence. This Mahajanpad, the total number of Mahajanpad was 16. And the major source to know about this Mahajanpad is only two. The first, Bauddha text, and the second one is the Jain text. Bauddha text Anguttar Nikaya, and the Jain text Bhagavati Sutta. So these are the two major sources through which we know about the Mahajanpad. So the total number of Mahajanpad is 16, and this is the most important uh, characteristic of the 600 BCE. 600 BCE, it was also the time period of emergence of Buddhism and the Jainism. Actually, uh, Jainism during the 600 BCE got popularity due to the Mahavir. Mahavir, he was the 24th member of the Jain Tirthankar, but the Lord Buddha was born in 600 BCE. So that was the reason I am stating the Buddhism, the time period in the 600 BCE is the time period of the Buddhism and the Jainism. And also, this is the time of the Mahajanpad era. Mahajanpad era, that means the urbanization phase. You can say it is the second urbanization, because in the first urbanization, this was the Indus Valley civilization. So 600 BCE, this is the second urbanization phase. The total number of Mahajanpad is 16, and the major source to know about the Mahajanpad is the Bauddha text and the Jain text, that is the Bhagavati Anguttar Nikaya. This is the Bauddha text, and the Jain text, this is the Bhagavati Sutta. But right now, I am going to discuss what was the major reason of this emergence of the 16 Mahajanpad. Okay, so now I have to discuss what was the this reason behind the emergence of Mahajanpad era. The major reason, it was the uh, tradition of the territorial expansion. You can say it was a just a tradition of the territorial expansion. The territorial expansion, which was started from the later Vedic age, means in 1000 BCE, it was during the later Vedic age, the amalgamation of the Jan plus Jan, that formed the Janpad. And so, in the after later Vedic age or in the 600 BCE, this Janpad, amalgamation of the Janpad, it transformed into the Mahajanpad. Are you getting my point or not? So the first point, what was the reason, or what was the reason of the emergence of the Mahajanpad? So the first tradition, it was the tradition of the territorial expansion, which commenced with the later Vedic age, transformed Jan of the Rig Vedic age to Janpad, and it was the tradition that transformed Janpad to the Mahajanpad. Okay, so the first point, it was the tradition. It was the tradition of territorial expansion, which was commenced from later Vedic age. That was the Jan of Rig Ved transformed into Janpad, and the amalgamation of Janpad in the post Vedic age transformed into Mahajanpad. Right? So it was a tradition. The first important point, what was the reason of this emergence? That is the it was a tradition of the amalgamation of the Jan, it transformed into the Janpad, and again the amalgamation of the Janpad, it transformed into the Mahajanpad. And the second important points, which was the some politico-military factors, I am going to discuss the reason behind this emergence of the Mahajanpad. That is the 1000 BCE, that is the year uh, in which we have the earliest evidences of the iron. Okay, so the second important factor, this is the politico-military factor. Politico-military factor to the emergence of 16 Mahajanpad. What was the politico-military factors? The first, in 1000 BCE, we have earliest evidences of iron, and they made the iron tools, iron weapons. And this iron weapons, it facilitate in the territorial expansion of the Janpad. Then it formed Mahajanpad. And the earliest evidences of the iron we got from the Ranji Kheda. Ranji Kheda. So this is the politico-military factor. And also the second politico-military factors, why and what was the major reason of the emergence of the Mahajanpad, that is some religious ideals and the ceremonies. Okay, now the third important factor, this is the religious ideals and the ceremonies. And this is the Ashwamedh Yajna. Ashwamedh Yajna. This Ashwamedh Yajna, it was the this is the important yajna and the ceremonies, and it inspired the rulers to expand their territories, and this expansion, and it facilitate the rulers to expansion of the territory, expansion of territory, and it led to the Mahajanpad. It led to the emergence of Mahajanpad. So this was the some politico-military factors, and also due to the iron or due to the iron tools, uh, also it was in the progress in the field of the agriculture, in the field of the art and the craft, in the field of the trade and commerce. It prepared the some strong material base for the emergence of the Mahajanpad during the 600 BCE. As a result of this economic progress, now the kings were in the position to maintain the elaborate, uh, the administrative machinery, the powerful army, and the resources through the taxes. This was also the major factor. Okay, so now I am going to discuss this point. Now the fourth number of factor, the progress witness in the field of agriculture, in the field of art and craft, in the field of trade and commerce, it also play the major important role, and it provide a strong material base for the emergence of the Mahajanpada. And this it provide the strong material base for the emergence of Mahajanpad, because uh, because this from this material base, because because from this material base, the king mobilize the taxes to increase in the strong army, and expand the territories. So expansion of the territories or expansion of the Janpad, it transformed into Mahajanpad, because when the ruler, when in the territory, the agriculture got is a good position, it facilitated the art and the craft. Also, art and craft, it now in the good position. The trade and commerce, again, it was in the good position. So, art and craft, agriculture, and the trade and commerce, it provide the proper taxes to the ruler, and the ruler mobilize these taxes to increase in their armies, to increase in their arms race, increase in their militaries, and this military the rulers used in the expansion of this territory, and the expansion of the territories is known as the transform the Janpad into the Mahajanpad. That was also the major factor. And another important factor, why the Mahajanpad era came in emergence, this was the expansion of the population growth. Fourth, now this was the fifth number part. The expansion of population. Expansion of the population. So this expansion of the population, it compelled the ruler to expand the territory, and this expansion is transformed into Mahajanpad. So this was also the major factor. So that is the reason why the Mahajanpad era came in existence. And also, uh, in the 16 Mahajanpad, means the number of the Mahajanpad is 16. The most of the Mahajanpad has the monarchical structure. Means the major objective to expansion of their territories. The leaders were too much aggressive and they play the major role in expansion of their territories. Right? Only in out of 16 Mahajanpad, only the two Mahajanpad have the republican characteristic. The 14 Mahajanpad was has the monarchical characteristic. Right? Okay. So the another factor you can say the point number 6. What was the major factor? Uh, the most of Mahajanpad, most of the 16 Mahajanpad have the monarchical characteristic. The monarchical characteristic, except that is Vajji and the Mal, they have the republican characteristic. So this monarchical characteristic ruler, the ruler of the monarchies, was very aggressive, their prime factor, expansion of their areas, and then it led to the transform into Mahajanpad. Okay, so this was something about what was the major factor of this emergence of this Mahajanpad. Okay, now in this slide, just I have discussed okay, what was the major factor of this emergence of the Mahajanpad. Again, now I am going to discuss. This is the rise of the Mahajanpad chapter, and in this slide, just I am going to discuss. I have discussed what was the reason behind this emergence of this Mahajanpad. The total number of the Mahajanpad is 16, and the economic factor, the socio-cultural factors, and religious factors, economic factor, कि why the Mahajanpad era came in existence. Okay, thank you. Now class is over. This was something about this Mahajanpad era. Okay, thank you.